So what are the issues?
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Political Voice. I am Sumto Ajama. Today on Political Voice, we're discussing Ohanaeze Ndigbo blames Southeast governors for Simon Ekpa'S rascality. And then, of course, we'll also talk about Benue's court and the halting of the dissolution of the Agada-led APC EXCOs, and, of course, developing stories on that. Joining us here in the studio to discuss this is Barrister Darlington, a political analyst. Good evening, Barrister Darlington. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Sumto. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for joining us.
How was the weekend?
Great. Thank you for asking. Yeah. Virtually, we have Dr. Hassan Sadiq, security expert and political analyst, who will be joining us in just a moment. But before we get right into the stories, let's take a global overview of happenings around the world. A Russian official has labeled Pavel Durov, the founder of Telegram, as a political prisoner following his arrest in France. Russian lawmakers have denounced Durov's arrest, but Maria Butina, who served 15 months in a U.S. prison for acting as an unregistered Russian agent, accused Europe of attempting to take control of Telegram. Butina claimed that Durov's arrest is a result of a Western witch hunt and suggested that it signals the end of freedom of speech in Europe. She further asserted that Durov's detention could be used as leverage to blackmail Russia and possibly lead to efforts to block Telegram's network in the country. National Democratic Congress NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama has pledged to reform government operations and tackle corruption if elected in 2024. At the launch of the NDC's manifesto in Winneba, Mahama announced plans to cut the number of ministers and ban government appointees from purchasing state assets. Mahama committed to a zero tolerance. Neither he, his family, nor other political appointees will be permitted to buy state assets. This move is part of his broader strategy to combat corruption and ensure fairness in governance. In addition, Mahama vowed to overhaul the government scholarship program, which he criticized for being misused by officials who can afford to fund their own children's education. He promised that under his administration, government officials and appointees would be ineligible for state scholarships, ensuring that they are reserved for underprivileged students. Mahama also pledged to reopen investigations into unresolved cases, including the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election violence, the 2020 election killings, and the murder of journalist Ahmed Suale, underscoring his commitment to take justice and accountability. We will now go on a short break, and when we return, we'll delve fully into today's topics of discussion. Stay with us. Welcome back to Political Voice. We begin conversation this evening with the Ekpa'S Igbo socio-cultural organization, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, expressing strong dissatisfaction with the Southeast governor's handling of the region's escalating security issues. In a statement issued yesterday, Mazi Okechukwu Isiguzoro, the Secretary General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, criticized the governors for their failure to actively engage with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to facilitate the release of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. Isiguzoro condemned the governor's perceived inaction, which he claimed has allowed individuals like Simon Ekpa, who is currently based in Finland, to influence public opinion and disrupt economic activities through his lockdown declarations. Ohanaeze Ndigbo urged the Southeast governors to take decisive action as the chief security officers of the region and implement innovative, locally driven strategies to address the security concerns in the Southeast. We'll come back in just a moment to continue full conversation on this. Stay with us.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Well, start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered. Showing from 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being of an individual. It's the fundamental right of everyone to enjoy the highest attainable standard of health without distinction of race, religion, or political belief. On VOP TV, we bring you Health Check, a show that x-rays different health issues and provides solutions with the help of experts in the medical field. Join us every Tuesday from 2:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Health Check. Health Check on VOP TV. Your health, our priority. From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space. Exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor.
All right, welcome back once again. Now, the subject of Ohanaeze Ndigbo talking about the need to talk to the president, or at least blaming the southeastern governors for their lack of efficiency or effective engagement with the president on Nnamdi Kanu's release, and of course, situations regarding the secession. Ohanaeze Ndigbo is reiterating its commitment to advocating effective solutions to the security crisis and urging these same Southeast governors to act promptly to restore control and ensure the safety of the people. They also added that they called on the entire Ndigbo to disregard Simon Ekpa'S lockdown directives and resist intimidation from criminal elements. Now let's talk about this. Ohanaeze Ndigbo is talking about the fact that they're disappointed and they're blaming the governors for their failure to effectively engage with the president to secure Nnamdi Kanu's release. But is Nnamdi Kanu's incarceration, the fact that he's still incarcerated, is that due to the lack of effective engagement on the part of the Southeast governors and political stakeholders? Or, as people have speculated, is this just the current government making a political statement at the expense of Nnamdi Kanu? I'll direct that one to you, Barrister Darlington.
Yeah, what is going on in the South is political rascality taken to a ridiculous height. Because the Igbo man that I know is not involved in this shenanigans. They don't pander to anybody's sentiments. All manner of people have misquoted and misinterpreted what is going on in the Southeast. That's why I call it rascality. This is not the culture and character of the Igbo man. The issue of lockdown is not from Simon Ekpa. It is an Igbo man's way of saying we don't like what is going on. If not, nobody can tell the Igbo man not to go to his business on a Monday morning.
Barrister Darlington,
yes.
So for clarification's sake,
yes.
Are you saying that it's not IPOB Or are you saying that it's IPOB rather, not Simon Ekpa, that declared the lockdown and that the Igbo man, the average Igbo man on the street is adhering to?
I am coming. It is neither IPOB nor Simon Ekpa. The Igbo man discovered that Nnamdi Kanu is being persecuted unjustly. And that Monday is a show of solidarity for him. Nothing else. Simon Ekpa is nobody in the Southeast to give order for anybody to stay at home. He cannot. He doesn't have that clout. He doesn't have that reach. Okay, who are the people supporting him in the South? Because IPOB, which the Igbo man knows, or the Southeastern knows as their own defender, they have denounced Simon Ekpa, and they have denied to sit at home. So who is the person doing that? Except that it is in the consciousness of the Igbo man, the Southeasterners, that look, this Monday we are using it to show our grievance over Nnamdi Kanu's continued incarceration. That is the way to look at it. People should stop giving Simon Ekpa a credit he does not deserve. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't even have any followership in his Southeast. So why would anybody be calling this guy name as if he's somebody? We don't know him. Even the Finnish government, their foreign secretary here, the ambassador here have said that they are making effort to repatriate him.
Yes, the defense chief has also asked for him to be arrested.
So what is anybody saying that he giving you are giving him undeserved credit? We don't know him.
But he calls himself he calls himself the Prime Minister of Biafra.
Leave whatever he's calling himself. Ask yourself, mention that Igbo group that recognizes Simon Ekpa. Mention.
There might not be a group, but there are people who follow him. Who
are the people? We don't know.
He's online every time. No. And he has an entire community that listen to him.
Hey, oh my God. Look, leave all those things. Those things are fabricated stories. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB, have denounced him. IPOB have denounced him. The Igbos have denounced him. Ohanaeze have denounced him. So who is following him? That will tell you that guy is nobody. But they just use him. I don't know why. I don't know who is hyping him. I have told you what is the real story, the real issue here. The Southeastern and the Igbos, they sit at home on Monday because of the continuous incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu. Nothing else.
So this is due to Simon Ekpa.
It's not even IPOB. It is their own way. It is their own way.
It's IPOB that instituted the Monday.
Remember, even when IPOB said that they have cancelled it, that people will only do that when Nnamdi Kanu is going to court. They still continued. Ask yourself why.
Okay, so you're saying this is their own.
This is their own way. Yeah, this is their own way of showing solidarity with Nnamdi Kanu. Nothing else. They are showing their annoyance instead of carrying gun or carrying machete protesting. Yes.
But talk to me about the fact that, according to Isi Guzoro, he's saying that it's the Southeastern governors that are not doing effective engagement when it comes to persuading and ensuring that President Bola Tinubu understands their perspective in order to secure the release of Nnamdi Kanu. He's saying they're not doing enough. So is Nnamdi Kanu still in jail, still incarcerated due to the lack of effective engagement? Or, as I asked previously, is this the government making a political statement at the expense of Nnamdi Kanu? And again, this is what people are speculating, because again, this is not the first person who is in these shoes. For instance, Gani Adams comes up, Sunday Igboho comes up, Bodejo comes up, the Mieti Allah guy comes up. So time after time, it seems that the popular view is that the government is making a political statement against Nnamdi Kanu. So I'm asking, is it for the lack of effective engagement on the side of the Southeast governors, or is just this political statement I keep referring to?
No, my dear, let us not go through that route.
It's the question.
No, yeah, I know. Because people forgot one thing. The Nigerian state is tainted with tribalism. Nigerian state is run by tribal sentiment, whether you like it or not.
Okay.
You saw how long it took Buhari to proscribe Mieti, Allah, bandits and all that. It was by force. He didn't see them as terrorists.
Yes.
We know how we force him. We talked and we even called out his name. At a point, some elder statesmen in Nigeria, they sued Buhari to court for 50 billion naira for causing all this tribalism and insecurity. They sued Buhari to court. to tell you how far this thing went until he reluctantly did it. After he now proscribed them, what happened? Where was he taking action against them? No, they were carrying guns and shooting people all over the place.
And eventually pardoned.
So those who were even captured, they were eventually rehabilitated and all that. So ask yourself, why is that going on? Because Buhari is in office. Those people have done 10 times more than what Nnamdi Kanu was alleged to have done. So that will tell you that the Southeasterners have tried. Ohanaeze have made a presentation to Buhari when he was in office. They let Amechi Mbazulike, he said that let Buhari do this one last wish for him before he will go to answer to his ancestors. That he should release his son to him. He wants to see him before he dies. Buhari, after saying, okay, I agree with you, no problem. He even told them when he went to Owerri that the matter is before the court, that whatever the court will decide, though, he will abide by it. When the court decided what happened, they still kept him there. They still kept him there. So what else do you want the Igbo to do so that they will say you want to start Biafra? You know, when your name is not good, it's not good to use whistle to call your name because people say you are calling for war. We have done everything we can. We're only waiting for the right time for Tinubu to do the needful. That's what we are waiting for. Everybody, you saw when the National Assembly member, 52 of them, wrote a letter.
Yes.
What is that not the way to go things in a civil manner?
So if I understand you correctly, Barrister Darlington, you're saying all of this is in this ball right now is in the court of the president and the president alone at this point.
Of course. If there is no tribal sentiment, that guy will not be there by now. It's only tribal sentiment because his brother is not in Aso Rock and he's an Igbo man. That is all. That is all. Nothing else. Nothing. Let nobody tell me any other story. Because the court have said, release this man. We don't even have a law to try him. That what people did in Kenya was criminal. The court told the federal government. It's even the federal government that have offended him. From all indication. The court said, the Supreme Court even advising Nnamdi Kanu to sue the federal government. He should go the civil route and sue them. You can imagine. So that will tell you how far. When they were saying about cases, his lawyer, Ejimako, had to compile 9 court judgments in favor of Nnamdi Kanu. Compile all of them to go and give the Attorney General Fagbemi. Is that not enough? Please, somebody should tell me. Did you catch Nnamdi Kanu with one gun like this that he was holding, either in his house when they went there to go and ransack his house? Did they see any arms and ammunition there? Have you ever caught him shooting somebody anywhere? But you see what these people are doing in the north. So that will tell you it's all about tribal sentiment. The same thing that has been, trailing the Igbo man since 1960. Anything others do is okay. But if the Igbo man just cough like this, they say, hey, he's calling for war. That's the difference.
There's definitely a difference there, and this is what informs the perspective that people have, that there's a tribal bias against the Igbos that is playing out even in the case of Nnamdi Kanu as well. And the statement that Ohanaeze Ndigbo wrote is also calling for a referendum as part of the peace and stability measures. Now, this call for a referendum, this is not the first time, it's not the second time, it's not the third time, it's not the fourth time. And truth be told, one can expect for these to continue to recur until Nnamdi Kanu is released, or at least until there is a sort of resolution when it comes to their call for secession. But my question now is the referendum still something one can expect? Nnamdi Kanu has been in jail for quite a while now, and the fact that they've not given up in the call for secession, I'm talking about IPOB now, it gives cause and gives credence to the fact that this is something that they still desire. And with regards to a referendum, the popular view is if the referendum is actually put out there for people to either assent to or refuse to, then people will actually know the reality of whether the Igbo people really, as a collective, want to leave Nigeria to establish or to become a nation, a Biafran nation specifically. But now my question to you is this referendum something one can expect in light of the length of time Nnamdi Kanu has been in jail and developments that concerns the average Igbo man on the streets?
No time is too short or too long for self-determination. It's there in the United Nations Charter. It's there, referendum. It was a referendum that separated Britain, UK from Europe. We also yesterday. It happened, this is not even the first time. In 1973, They did the same thing and left Europe. Recently again, they did it, that was in 2020. They did it and left Europe. So it's a common thing. What's the name? Bangladesh came out from India. Pakistan came out from India. What's it called? Singapore came out of Malaysia. So what are you telling me? These things have happened all over, and there was nobody shot any gun.
So why is it so different when it comes to Nigeria?
That will tell you now. That is why I tell that the Nigerian state is tainted with tribalism.
If tribalism is really a problem, one aspect of it that you can point to is that tribalism is a challenge, and in that context, it's negative towards the Igbos. And if it's negative towards the Igbos, and the Igbos that are feeling the negativity are asking to be released, why exactly is that then a problem for the government to actually heed this call and give them what they want? Why is that such an issue with the past government and with this particular government?
When you are holding somebody in bondage, it is you that is in bondage that will be struggling to free yourself. Freedom is never given freely. Go and check anywhere in the world, except in few cases, in a civilized environment. But in the Nigerian state, you can see what is going on. The Israelites didn't leave Egypt with in good faith.
Of course.
Something happened. And that one is a well-documented story. It's a historical fact. The Igbo man position in Nigeria is that of the monkey they walk, baboon they chop. Go and check Somto. Mention any other ethnic group in Nigeria that have contributed more than the Igbo in Nigerian states.
So is this your reason, or is this one of the reasons you strongly speculate that that's one of the reasons why they do not want the Igbos to leave to establish their own nation?
Of course. This thing played out during the Biafran War, my dear. Maybe you didn't know the history of that war. They were afraid of what this particular group of people, this ethnic group called Igbo man, what they are going to become. Not just in Nigeria, in Africa. The Western world were all afraid of the Igbos. When they saw what the Biafran scientists were doing, so our Biafran scientists manufactured ground to air missile that was 10 times ahead of that of Soviet Union that time. What are you talking about? 10 times ahead, Soviet Union, a world power. They saw this and said, no, if they allow these people to go, they are going to challenge them. That was why 3 world powers joined the federal government to fight the Igbos. You think they didn't know what they were doing? If not for that blockade at Bakassi that stopped food importation, and then our money that they collected from the bank, my dear, that war wouldn't have ended the way it ended. These are the 2 major reasons why it looks as if the Igbos lost that war. They took all our money from the bank and blocked Bakassi. Even Bakassi was not even properly ceded to Cameroon. Gowon just handed it over to them, so that is the place Biafrans were bringing in things. They stopped it, and so there was nothing. That was what ended the war. So why do you think that these Western powers joined the Nigerian state? Go and check all the things that we produced and manufactured during that war at Ojupu Bunker, War Museum at Omoy. Go and see it. You will see the wonders of creation of the Igbo. Just during that 30 months Civil War, what we did. There are so many inventions. Project Development Agency at Enugu. They produced the first engine block in continental Africa. Engine block, satisfied, confirmed. That was what made these people to be afraid that, look, these people must not go. They are going to become a world power. That was the reason. So even up to today, our chemical engineering department in Enugu, UNN, they closed it down till today. They closed it down because of the scientists that what they were doing during the war. You can imagine. So the hatred, look, if you want to discuss the issue, it's not a day job.
Absolutely.
It's not a day job. So these are the things that are making these people say, no, let us keep these people so that they'll be working for us. Look at the ones in the southeast, nothing. Meanwhile, the Igbos are all over the place, adding value, contributing.
Talking about contribution and economic inputs, the United Igbo Elders Council are calling for the reopening of the Eastern the eastern ports, because they're saying that this is also an important factor, and this is something that the president needs to act on. So what economic impact have these blockades had on the region? I think that's an open question, actually, because to a large extent, these economic impacts have been seen as we speak. But how crucial, this is furthermore the more important question, how crucial is this reopening of these ports for regional, I'm talking about the southeast now, and in turn, by extension, national development?
You don't need to be told. The most widely traveled ethnic group in Nigeria today is the Igbo man. We are, apart from within Nigeria, outside Nigeria, we are the #1 traveler. We are very, very inventive. We are very adventurous. They want to remain in Nigeria, no problem. But let that referendum come for you to decide. Britain did it before they left Europe. They did it. Our colonial master, I don't know whether we know better than them. They did it. And they left quietly. In Nigeria, what is wrong there? If you don't want them to, then integrate them into the mainstream of Nigerian politics and the Nigerian economy. You said no. So when somebody asking the Igbos, why are you agitating? Why are you agitating? You are this. These are the reasons. Look at it. Even in Buhari's regime, the Igbo man was not there. In Tinubu now, the Igbo man is virtually not there. So what is our own in all these things? Look at how we are treated during the last election. Every time the Igbo man will be made to look like a slave in a country that he calls his own, in a country that he is contributing diligently. What we suffered in Lagos here, are we supposed to suffer it, considering our contribution in Lagos here? But you saw what happened in the last election, how we are humiliated. You see small boys flogging their elderly man because he's an Igbo man. Don't vote. If you are not voting for us, don't vote. Don't come out. This and that. Everything. You see people talking to the Igbo man as if he's a nobody. What's the Bayonono guy will come and talk his own. Asari Dokubo. All these other people. Even MC Olu among them. Just insulting us right, left, and center. The Oba of Lagos. Is it not enough to tell you how these people view you as a human being? Is that not enough for you to agitate that, no, this insult is too much, oh, I want to go? Mention if we are retaliated to any of these insults in the Southeast. Have we retaliated one day? So please tell me, is there any time they did all this? The Igbos in the Southeast say, okay, let us deal with the Yorubas or the Hausas in our place. We don't do that now. It's not in our character. It's not in our character. We don't. So why can't they copy our diligent and our peaceful nature? Can't they copy it? If an Hausa man had been there, like Nnamdi since the court said he should go, I know what would have been going on by now. Or a Yoruba man. When court have said, court have ruled, though, not that somebody, and you see the name, their people will not agree now. They would have made this country a hell. But look at the Igbo man quietly asking, let this man go, let this man. What else does anybody want us to do?
All right, I'm going to take another perspective on that at the moment. Thank you very much, Dr. Hassan, for joining us.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Yes, very quickly, before we round up this particular conversation, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, is calling on the southeastern governors to make more efforts and to have more effective engagement with the president in a bid to get an unconditional release for Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra movement. And they're saying that it's because there's a lack of that effective engagement, and that's the reason he's still in jail. So I want your response to that. And of course, the second follow-up question would be in light of everything that Barrister Darlington has said, which is the call for a secession by the Igbo man due to marginalization. That's just an umbrella word, but there are lots of layers to it. So is this something, will a referendum solve this? Actually, I take that back. Let me ask you, are we going to get a referendum? Is this something that the people of Nigeria can expect that they will do towards the Southeast, towards the Southeast specifically? So two-layered question, but I hope you understand.
Okay, I'm not hearing you very well.
All right, do you need me to repeat the question?
Yes, because I'm not hearing you very well. If you can speak louder a little, yes.
All right, let's start with the Ohanaeze Ndigbo.
Can you hear you now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now.
All right, thank you very much. Let's start with the Ohanaeze Ndigbo calling on the southeastern governors, or at least blaming the southeastern governors for not having enough effective engagement with the president, and as a result, Nnamdi Kanu is still in jail. My first question to you is he still in jail because they're not talking enough, or because they're not insisting on having effective engagement? Let me still use that phrase as regards his imprisonment or his incarceration. Let's start with that before I ask a follow-up question.
It is not because they are not having a proper engagement. If you recall, this is like a new regime in our democratic system. When the new governors take over, they now see the impact, the effect of Nnamdi Kanu stay at home that causes them insecurity and economic setback. This is where they are not too keen and interested that Nnamdi Kanu must be released, because they are now seeing the side effects of having Nnamdi Kanu. If you also recall, the governor of Anambra State, Professor Soludo, was attacked earlier when he took over, when he tried to look at it, condemning the actions of Nnamdi Kanu, the multiple effects that is having on the East, the security, the economic setback. Because of the manner he condemned and voiced out, he was attacked. If you bring the 5 Southeast of the governors together, this is one of the reasons why they are not too keen about Nnamdi Kanu release. They are also looking at how individual states can now make sure they fight the insecurity that Nnamdi Kanu has already caused on the ground, before they will now come out and look at it. Okay, it is time to release this man. That was why I keep on hammering on security solutions instead of political solutions, because this governor has seen it that, look, this thing is setting the development they intend to carry out backward, than now going there to go say, okay, they are negotiating the release of this man. So this is what makes them, they are not really having that effect coordinating together to make sure they do that. So if Ohanaeze is now accusing some of the Southeast Igbo governors that are not coordinating to see that Mr. President will release it, they are only saying it simply because the Ohanaeze has now come to term over period that this man ought to be released, and they are looking at political solutions. But the governors are looking at the cause effect of what he has cost them. This is why they are setting back. Not necessarily simply because they don't want Nnamdi Kanu to be released. They are looking at it from two angles. If you release this man, what will happen again? Because they are now having some support of the national government. While Nnamdi Kanu, part of his reasons, agitation, fightings was to discontinue condemning the national. So these are the problem. So how do you do that? It's like having a child and you said the umbilical cord should cut off without not the proper measure put in place. This is the problem.
Dr. Hassan, did you say Nnamdi Kanu was one who caused the insecurity in the states, in the Southeast?
I'm not hearing you very well. This is the problem. Your line there is faint.
Can you hear me now, Dr. Hassan?
I am hearing you now again.
All right, I'm asking if I heard you correctly when you said Nnamdi Kanu caused the insecurity in the Southeast.
Yes, I said his actions create insecurity in the Southeast, where the governors are...
I just wanted to clarify that. I'm going to have Barrister Darlington respond to that in just a moment.
Because it's affecting their development, economic development and political development. This is why they are not too keen. Yes.
Keen on releasing him. Okay, understood. Barrister Darlington, what is your response to that?
In fact, I am disappointed in making that statement, because that means he did not understand the issues at stake. If my continued incarceration is causing you insecurity, why wouldn't you make effort to release me so that there will be no more insecurity?
No, I believe what he's trying to say is his actions before he was incarcerated.
In the Southeast. What are you supposed to do? You release him now so that there will be peace. If you release him, who will be sitting at home on Monday? On what basis will you be sitting at home again? On what basis? You will not be sitting at home now.
Okay, so I'm going to let you respond to that, Dr.
Remember, court have said that they should release him. Remember that angle.
My friend
yes,
there's speaking the truth of the issue. My friend here is not looking at the background of the issue and the history of the issue. Remember that stay at home has been on effect when Nnamdi Kanu was not in the country. If you remember, before he was even arrested in Kenya and brought back to Nigeria, the issue of sit at home ground, and they are now seeing the heat of that stay at home. So you have to look at this. The new governors, it was not when they were there that Nnamdi Kanu was arrested and now brought back into Nigeria. The effect of what is going on has been on place before this new governor came in. You need to understand this. Yes, this is the background and the history of was arrested in Kenya and brought back to Nigeria.
But he had denounced it. He has said that he doesn't want anybody to sit at home on Monday. He had denounced it openly. Is that not true?
Yes, but does denouncing it...
Where you are getting it wrong. There's what is called security implication of actions of anything. We said it before this matter, that the way federal government handled it initial stage was wrong. This is what get to where they are today. This is what we call security implications. A lot of insecurity today in the Southeast are not caused by Nnamdi Kanu, but it was led on his agitation.
Dr. Hassan, I understand you, and I hear you.
As a result of that,
yes,
that is what we call security implications of the actions of Nnamdi Kanu. So there are a lot of issues on the Southeast. It was not caused by Nnamdi Kanu, but because they see as a loophole for them to cause mayhem to the Southeast. This is why.
Right,
and they now target to Nnamdi Kanu education, but it was not the one. That is what is called security implications. So this is what the governors are looking at.
No, what exactly caused the security implication? Let me get it clear.
If they now went and straight ahead.
What exactly now caused the security implication? What exactly? For his continued incarceration, especially when the court have said release him. That is what I'm telling you. It's the federal government that is causing insecurity because they refuse to obey court order. If the Nnamdi Kanu had been released today and this thing continue, then you have an argument. But I'm telling you, the federal government knows, everybody knows. That was why everyone is saying, release this man. The National Assembly have written, the court have written, the court have given judgment. So if there is insecurity today, the federal government is responsible. That's what we are saying here. The unknown government who brought them into the Southeast, who know them. Was it IPOB? That's what we are saying here. The federal government is responsible for what is going on in the Southeast today. Because Nnamdi Kanu, he has denounced it openly.
All right, I'm going to stop you there, Barrister Darlington. Thank you very much. And of course, this back and forth...
Sorry for just last word. Yes. Nnamdi Kanu is a non-state actor. Every other people who are involved, Ohanaeze is a non-state actor. Nnamdi Kanu is a non-state actor. Those who are causing problems there are non-state actors. They can bring a problem, but they don't have the solutions. Now, the solution to this is only on the federal government. But before the federal government to announce, okay, Nnamdi Kanu, you are free to go, they look at all these parameters. That is why I said most of these non-state actors today who are now coming that, okay, release Nnamdi Kanu, how have they been able to say this is how they are guarantee the safety of the Southeast? Now, after releasing Nnamdi Kanu, they've not been able to do that. And this is what we call security solutions. That is why I keep on saying,
please, Dr. Hassan,
that avenue, you will now see that
Dr. Hassan, Dr. Hassan.
At that time, the federal government can now say, on the basis of this, we are releasing Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay, fine. You have spoken so well. You have spoken so well. Please.
Political.
Yes, I've heard you. The time Ndigbo and the Shawore were released, this implication you are talking about, was it addressed? Did anybody go and give them assurance that, yes, so if these people come out, they will be a good boy? The one that is happening in the north, where terrorists are being released right, left, and center. Did anybody go to make representation for them? Did they give assurance that they will not cause problem again in the north? The problem in the north is 10 times higher than what is going on in the southeast. Was it Nnamdi Kanu that caused it? Please answer those questions.
Okay, now let me answer you. Where you people are mixing it, where you are not looking at it is that the agitations of Nnamdi Kanu, remember, we had a civil war. And the reason for the civil war is that the East want to go. Now, it has more stronger tile within the region than what Igboho are agitating and the other part we have mentioned. The gravity of the Southeast in terms of propelling for nations of their own, it is quite intensive and higher. More support to the extent of international support, both individual and the state, that supporting Nnamdi Kanu and looking at the Biafra. If you have the history of Biafra, there are a lot of the country today who wishes that Biafra should come to stay, which is against the unity of Nigeria.
No, it is
now,
not.
The other group you mentioned,
there is nothing wrong there.
This intensive support. This is what the federal government is looking at. If you don't know how to go, how many insecurity Igbo has created in the south-south, in the southwest, you don't have it. The same way, if you are looking at it in the north. So Igbo is like one person in majority. Why Nnamdi Kanu is like majority in many. So these are the things some of you has not been able to study clearly and look at it. Why is the federal government is bent and adamant, irrespective of the court decisions, irrespective of people who has intervened, and they still refuse. These are what you need to look at. That is why I said, for example, you carry a petrol and keep in a building. He did not like it, but someone out there and now start smoking cigarette within that building.
Okay, hold on.
The petrol you came here, the building now caught fire.
I need to, Barrister Darlington, can they listen to me?
I'm listening.
So I have a question for you.
Let me ask him, please. These people in the north who went outside Nigeria to bring in terrorists into this country, to come and destabilize the Nigerian state. Please, what they did and what Nnamdi Kanu did, which one is more grievous? You had it, you know it. They went outside here to bring in terrorists that are terrorizing us today. You know it. You know the history.
Even aside from bringing them, Boko Haram were already terrorists.
They brought people to join Boko Haram. As I'm talking to you today, 4 terrorist organizations are operating mainly in the north. 4. And they were all brought into this country by people from the north. They said it openly. They beat their chests. And today you can see what is going on in Nigeria. Please, was it Nnamdi Kanu that caused it? That is the question. Some people are even holding court. Some part of that father, Bello told you, is holding court. They are collecting taxes from people, collecting protection money. Is IPOP doing that in the southeast? What is wrong with referendum? I'll give you an example of states that have led through referendum, especially our colonial master. Did he stop Europe from moving forward? Why is it that it is because you are getting from the Igbo, that's why you don't want them to go and have a referendum? What is wrong there? What is wrong there? You are united Nigeria. Are we united? Why are we deceiving ourselves? You know that these people want to go. Singapore left Malaysia. Yet the two of them are working. Look at where Singapore is today. Look at the level of development in Singapore. If they were in Malaysia, would not have gone this far. Pakistan and Bangladesh, they went out from India. So what is wrong with referendum that people say they want to go peacefully? What is wrong there? Tell me, what is wrong?
All right, Barrister Darlington, I'm going to.
I agree with referendum that will be on a peaceful.
That's what we are saying. That's what we are saying. That's what we are saying.
Hold on, so you get it. It is good to have a referendum where it will go peacefully because it's even a United Nations charter.
Good.
But you must not destroy the nations you want to cut away.
Who wants to destroy what? I will be destroying the nation.
What I expected is that if you are calling for referendum without Nnamdi Kanu release, the referendum can take place and peacefully. Yes, you need to.
Let it be granted then. Let it be granted. Let it be granted then. Let it be granted. Let it be. The North has been opposing it. I don't know why. Everything that we put before, they will oppose it.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I've given you one of the reasons why government is opposing it.
It is the North. It is the North. I just gave you an example of what they did. They brought terrorists into this country. They brought terrorists. Is that not a grievous offense? The leader who did that, have they been prosecuted? Have they been arrested?
All right, I'm going to stop you there, Barrister Darlington, and thank you to you as well, Dr. Hassan. This has been a very productive conversation, but truth be told, there are 2 sides, or more than 2 sides, of this particular divide when it comes to the call for secession, how the government is handling it, the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu, the subjugation and marginalization of the Igbos in general, which historically has been a contest, or has been a concern rather, and still remains a concern today. Now, truth be told, one can sit and say that there are some security implications, but there are also similar names and similar situations that these has occurred before that produce a completely contrary outcome. Now, the question is, why is the government in this particular situation the same outcome, the same amount of grace, the same amount of extension, the same amount of courtesy, if you please, that has been granted to previous similar situations when they have occurred in times past? But I'm going to leave that question out there just so that anybody who's listening can respond to that in their own time. But of course, this is where I draw the curtain on Political Voice today. Thank you very much, Dr. Hassan, for joining us.
Okay, thank you for having me, and I'm sorry for coming late.
And thank you to you, Barrister Darlington, for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Somto.
And of course, this is where we draw the curtain. And if you want to comment, of course, please follow us across all our social media platforms at VOP TV Live. Political Voice will make a return tomorrow. My name is Somto Ajamma. Good evening.